The Trump administration recently admitted in a court filing that U.S. DOJ service members accessed and shared sensitive Social Security data without agencies of officials' knowledge. According to the Washington Post, the admission follows whistleblower claims and a lawsuit alleging data misuse for political purposes. And you might be wondering, how can you protect your identity given that your information, possibly your Social Security number, was shared outside the SSA? Here to talk with me about that is Steve Weisman. He operates the scamicide.com website. Steve, welcome.
It's good to be with you.
It's good to have you here, and it will be good to have you walk us through what people can do to protect their identity given this admission in the court filing.
Yeah, it's very disturbing and unfortunately not surprising with the manner in which DOJ was operating. But it's not just them. And your Social Security number is really a key to identity theft. If anyone has that, it's open season as far as being able to set up accounts in your name or even use that to leverage to get at your accounts. And it points out the fact that we are only as safe as the places with the weakest security who have our Social Security number. So right off the bat, one of the things to know is everyone who asks for it doesn't need it. I went to my eye doctor and they asked me for my Social Security number. They don't need it. And I didn't give it to them and they're fine with that. So quite frankly, physicians largely do collect it and they don't need it. So I would say when possible, always refuse to give your Social Security number. Offer your driver's license number or something.
Yeah.
That's important because
let me interrupt you, Steve. Oftentimes someone will ask for the last four digits of your Social Security number. Is that okay? Or do you sort of warn against doing that too?
If it's your children that they're asking for their last four digits, I would say okay. And I'm not being facetious because for a long time, and for you and I, the first two sets of digits represented where you got your Social Security number, where you were born, and the date of your being born. So for that reason, the last four digits is still too much for most adults. So it's better not to give it at all. This was changed a few years ago. So you got teenagers and they only want to give the last four digits. They're fine. So one of the first things you want to do is the credit reporting agencies will say, all you need to do is put a fraud alert on your report. And it's free and easy. It's free and easy for the credit reporting agencies. They make their money by selling our information. And when we freeze our credit, they're not going to be able to sell that. The fraud alert is worthless. It is hardly observed. The key is to get a credit freeze on your credit report. And you do it at each of the three major credit reporting agencies. You know, before they used to charge you to freeze and to unfreeze and say how difficult it was. It's very simple to do. It's absolutely free. Congress made it free after the major Equifax data breach. So you want to freeze it there. And there's a fourth credit reporting agency.
Well, actually, before you go on, just to let people know, right, the three major credit reporting agencies are Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. Is that correct?
Yep. That's the big three.
All right.
Then you also want to go to NCTUE. And this is actually owned by Equifax, but you still need to put another credit freeze on there. And it's simple to do online. This is the one that deals with telecommunications, like your internet bill and your cell phone. So scammers will get a Social Security number and get cell phones in your name. So you want to freeze your credit. Best thing you can do. Freeze your kids' credit because, quite frankly, children's Social Security numbers are really prized by identity thieves because often they don't find out, the kids don't find out about it until maybe they're 18. So you can freeze children's credit as well. And then you want to monitor your credit report regularly. Now, it used to be that you would be able to freely get a report from Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion once a year. And during the pandemic, the credit reporting agencies changed that to allow people to actually get a free credit report once a week. Now, I don't think you need to check it once a week, but once a month would be good. Here's the thing to look out for. There are a lot of scams out there offering the so-called free credit report, and then you end up signing up for all kinds of costs or even turning over your Social Security number to someone who's a scammer and not giving you anything. So the only site that you want to go to is annualcreditreport.com. And it still says annual, even though it's weekly. But that one, you can go there and freeze it at all three. So you want to monitor that. Another thing is income tax identity theft is still a huge problem. And what happens is the scammer gets your social security number, counterfeits a W, sends it in. If they get it in before you get your tax return in, there's a likelihood that they're going to get a substantial refund. And when you file, it will take the IRS better than a year before you can get your legitimate refund. And it's really awful. And the cuts at the IRS are making it even worse. But the one thing you can do now is for free, and you need to do it each year, you can get a PIN from the IRS. And you use this on your income tax return so that even if someone managed to steal your social security number, they're not going to be able to file a return in your name. The other things you want to do is use dual factor authentication on all of your accounts. So even if someone manages to steal a password or whatever, try to set one up, they're not going to be able to. And then Social Security has a terrific portal that you can get called My Social Security Account. And it's really good because you can, sometimes it's very difficult to get someone from Social Security on the line to talk about anything. With My Social Security Account, you set it up, you have your own portal, you can find out, what your payments are going to be. You can also do things like even change the bank to which your check is coming. And that's key because you don't want to have a scammer have your social security number and set up a My Social Security account in your name and then put in their bank account. So it's a good thing to do in any event, but it's really a good thing to do to protect yourself from identity theft.
Yeah. So lots of follow-up questions. One is you mentioned the IRS and getting a PIN. When people go to sign into the irs.gov site to either sign into their own account or create an account, you're offered the opportunity to either sign in with an existing account through ID.me or to create a new account through ID.me. And I suspect that's safe, right? That people don't need to worry about that.
Yeah, no, that's something that is legitimate.
Yeah. And then the other is a lot of times people might think, well, I need to subscribe to LifeLock or Aura or some other monitoring service, not just for maybe your ID theft, but also for email hacks and password hacks and whatnot. Any thoughts about whether people need to do that over and above what you just recommended?
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of them, and actually some of them have actually suffered data breaches, and the FTC's taken action against them for overpromising. Yeah, to a certain extent, what I see them as doing is somebody's crossing a street, they get hit by a bus, and someone runs out and tells them, guess what? You just got hit by a bus. So that's what they do. They're going to tell you that you're a victim sooner. And they will do things like monitor the dark web. But let me tell you, your information is on the dark web. So after all these data breaches, if you don't want to do the credit monitoring on your own on a regular basis, they will do that for you. So if it's a matter of convenience, fine. But they're really not going to offer any services you can't do for yourself and at no cost.
Right. And then in terms of folks with their emails and passwords, sometimes people are told to use LastPass or other services where their passwords are protected by an entity. Any thoughts about using those services?
Yeah, it's these password managers are actually pretty good, and they come up with really good passwords. Nothing is perfect, and you have your master password that you use to get in there. And there have been instances where it appears that the password managers have been hacked and they haven't been. It's been social engineering where someone poses as them and lures someone into providing that. I'm a little old fashioned. I look for the helping hand at the end of my own arm. So I use complex passwords, but ones that I can remember. Will often say, take something like, I don't like passwords. That's your base. And your Amazon password would be, I don't like passwords, 3 exclamation points, AMA. And you can adapt other passwords so that they're unique, and you need a unique password for everything and still be able to do it yourself.
Yeah. So in some cases, if you're using Google and you're signing up for a new account, it will offer you a suggested password that looks pretty complex and nothing that I could ever remember. Any thoughts about taking advantage of Google's suggestion to use their suggested password?
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. I guess the only thing that in the back of my mind, and even paranoids have enemies, is they're big targets. And so would it be surprising if Google gets hacked? No, because they have been. So even though, yes, they do a pretty good job with that. And that being said, the Google Safe Browsing, where they check out websites that you're going to find out if they're iffy, is really good. I like the do-it-yourself as far as passwords go.
Okay. So let me go back to the this sharing of Social Security numbers. I mean, there are almost, I don't know, hundreds of millions of people who
Yeah,
have a Social Security number. How many of us need to worry about this?
everybody. Because the bottom line is it's out there too much. The IRS has gotten hacked. Every place that has your information is a target. And unfortunately, Social Security's numbers are so ubiquitous and held by so many agencies. It's not a matter of if it's going to be compromised. It's a matter of when. And so you do need to do these protections of freezing your reports and monitoring your credit reports and using a PIN for your income tax return, limiting the places you can so that, whoever asks for it, you don't necessarily give it to them. But yeah, this is just the world we live in today.
Yeah. Steve, this has been a pleasure chatting with you. And as we go through the year in 2026, I would love to talk with you on a monthly basis about other scams that are sort of on your radar screen that people need to know about.
Oh, I'd love to do it. Always good to talk with you, Bob.